Welcome to the High Heads Podcast. It's been about 2 years, been 2 years exactly. Last podcast I did was Father's Day of 2 years ago. Today's Father's Day, and we getting back to it. I'm Josh, co-owner of High Heads and also Mrs. Paint Party. And I'm here with something lovely. Who am I here with?
I'm Donna, and I am co-owner of Mrs. Paint Party.
So you are Mrs. Paint Party.
I am Mrs. Paint Party.
This
Yes.
is my wife, and we're gonna talk that talk today. So people that don't know you, where you're from, tell me a little bit about you.
So I am from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Moved down here to North Carolina 2 years ago with my husband. Mom of 5. Business owner. And a wife.
How's your morning going?
Good so far. Yeah.
Any plans today?
Make some money, cook some food.
Yeah.
Go to the park with the kids. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yes. They need to get out and run.
It's Father's Day though.
Oh yeah.
Make him some ice cream.
You had ice cream 2 days in a row.
Yeah.
You're not eating any more ice cream.
But I got a free one at Jeremiah's though. No? Maybe?
Maybe.
Maybe. As far as the business, let's go into
Okay.
how this whole thing, how did Mrs. Paint Party start?
I'm gonna tell that story. Okay.
Yeah, let's start from the beginning.
So back in the day, 2017.
Yeah.
We did a date night at home. It was my plan, a date night at home where we did like a paint sip. We don't sip alcohol. It was sparkling water. And
I don't remember.
yeah, it was in little wine glasses. It was sparkling water with some fruit, and it was disgusting.
Yeah.
But we did a date night at home where we painted, and
This before we married or after?
before 2017.
Okay.
Yeah. So, we both painted, and you liked what I painted.
Mm-hmm.
You really liked it. You said that, you think I should start painting and stuff. So I started painting portraits of us and, you, me, and the kids, and created like a whole family portrait wall. And I was just like, because I don't know the in-between. So after that, you were like, well, why don't you start painting other people and make money for it? So I started doing that. I started painting other people, portraits of other people, or whatever they wanted, their cars, stuff like that. Then somehow the idea of me teaching people how to paint came up from you. And so we did that in the first Hothead store. We did 2 events there, and went really well. At least with me instructing, people come in, stuff like that, and they enjoyed it. So we closed down the first Hothead store, and we said that the next store we would open would be Mrs. Paint Party. But it wasn't Mrs. Paint Party yet. First it was, oh my gosh, it was Loella's Paintings. That's a whole story that we have to do.
Did we name the store? Was the store named that?
No, never. No.
That's just what you
So
named.
before the store,
Right.
before Mrs. Paint Party,
Right.
we
yeah.
had Loella's Painting. And before we opened the store, I was back at work, and we were like, he said, we gotta find a name that's like catchy, a household name, but catchy and easy to say and quick to say. So we're sitting here, well, he's sitting there thinking of names, I'm working. And he texts me one day and he's like, Mrs. Paint Party. And I was like, ew, no. I was like, that's terrible, no. And then I sat there and said it over and over in my head. And then I started saying it out loud, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's the one. I was like, and it was literally maybe just a few minutes after he texted me that, and I said, okay, that's the one we're gonna do. And I was like, I fell in love with it instantly. So when we opened up as Mrs. Paint Party. And we started with step-by-step instructional painting. Then we had to close down because we opened up right when the pandemic hit. So We did
didn't close the shop. We just
no. We opened up.
Yeah.
And then we did a few events.
Mm-hmm.
I was getting there. We did a few events, and then we were like, everything was starting to shut down, and we're like, well, we're not shutting down until somebody come banging on our door. You gotta shut down. Literally got an email from chief of police.
Right.
You guys have to shut down your next event. Blah blah. They gave us the dates of our next events and everything. So we were like, okay. So we shut the doors, and then we were still selling clothes. Because the Hotheads was, when we opened the store, it was Hotheads and Mrs. Paint Party. So Hotheads was in there. People were buying the clothes. It was a store and at the time studio, and he was still selling clothes. And then we came up with the idea of selling paint kits, where people would order the pictures with the brushes and the paint. So it was like a whole kit that they can do at home. So people were ordering them, and it kept us being able to, the Hotheads with the kids was able to keep the store while it was closed down. It was only closed down for a few months, maybe 2.5 months. I think we opened, it was March we had to close down, end of March. We couldn't do our April events, and then we opened back up in June, end of June, July, early July.
It was longer than that.
No, it was summer, because that's when the WAP came out. Because when the WAP came out, we did the WAP. As soon as we opened our first event back open was the WAP, and we sold out.
I don't know.
Now, mind you, we were doing weekend events. So it was like Friday, Saturday. Eventually we did Sundays, but Friday nights, Saturday nights, where people would buy tickets on our website to come paint the picture that we chose. So it'd be like one picture that everybody was painting, or one or two options. So everybody was painting like the same picture. So when we reopened our doors, because we were allowed to at a minimum or whatever, they gave people like a minimum of people coming together. We did the WAP, because the WAP came out from Cardi and Megan, and we took the cover of the album or whatever it was, split it in half, and one Cardi, one Meg, and we sold out. It was like 30 people packed in there.
We got in here, I'm about to show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we got still. So, so it was packed. We weren't even supposed to be 30 packed. We were supposed to have like 15, I think it was like 10 or 15 people, right? So this is what we did. And we split it in two, and people were coming. So the first night, sold out 30, people just back to back, whatever, having a good time. Then we did it again the next night, sold out again. And what people were doing was coming in and getting the second picture too. And then we did it a couple times, and we realized, okay, people like to just basically color instead of feeling like they got to come in and paint and be an artist or something like that.
Yeah,
so
like
when we
be taught a picture.
be taught how to paint a picture, and they don't want to mess up their picture, and then they be like, so it wasn't for us. It wasn't that. It was more so worried about making sure they had fun, because they're in there sipping and they're painting, and if they got to do an instructional thing, they having fun. They gonna miss instruction. They gonna mess up their pictures because they drinking or whatever else. But when they have the ones that are pre-drawn and they're painting that, they don't care if they mess up their picture or whatever, and they're drinking and stuff like that. They're just having a good time. So we transitioned to pre-drawn canvases, and it just took over.
And then what?
And then what? What was after that? So a couple years go by, and we're doing this, and then we started adding Sunday nights. So we have Friday nights, Saturday nights, Sunday nights. We try to give them like themes.
And Sunday daytime.
And Saturday daytime. Then we started adding Saturday and Sunday daytimes for the kids, because we had to have kids.
So then we shut down. We didn't shut down. We turned the paint party, the current paint party spot.
No, before that. Before we turned it into that, we were just growing, and we put in the photo booth.
We gotta go back again.
Yeah.
So we ended up Hotheads leaving.
Yeah.
And Hotheads became its own shop.
Yep. A block away.
Yep, a block away. And then we started expanding the paint party store, making it better.
Right.
Adding the photo booths. That's when that was a big thing. We added the photo booths.
We had the Barbie box, the phone, the money room. Well, we never really got the money room, but it was.
Let's fast forward though. Let's fast forward a little bit. So then we ended up.
Literally, right? Like maybe like 2 months after switching to the photo booths and everything, we ended up saying, let's turn this into an event space, and we just put Mrs. Paint Party back with Hotheads in the bigger space. And we moved Mrs. Paint Party down to Hotheads and painted that up, and it was like half again, half and half. And we turned the event space into an event space.
So let's say the decision to move here.
Okay.
Let's talk about that. How did that?
So we've been talking about moving to North Carolina since the beginning of our relationship, because we would come down to visit his oldest son, our oldest son. We would just love it and stuff, but we realized that that down here was just like where we were from in Harrisburg, but it was like 10 times bigger and 10 times more people, and it's like, okay, we wanted to like build businesses down here. So then when the idea finally came up and we decided we wanted to do it, we were just like, I think the business was, I think it was starting to tire in Harrisburg because Harrisburg is really small. So it's like once they're over something, they're kind of like over it and move on to the next thing. So, and we were still doing just events and one picture option, or one or two. We were now adding like two, one for males, one for females. So, because the couples, we were trying to do couples nights and that wasn't really working out too good. So we did where couples can come anytime. So we did a male picture and a female picture. And, but it started like dying out a little bit up there. So we were like, okay, let's make this move to North Carolina because we know we can, it's a bigger amount of people, the numbers made sense, all that stuff. So, and with how the business did in its first 2 years, we were like, if we can do that in the first 2 years in Harrisburg, in a small city, come to a bigger city and go crazy immediately. So we decided, we came down. Did we come down for Kamar's birthday first? No. We came down for the, yeah, so we came to visit him like we usually do in the beginning of the year. Yeah, in March. And his birthday was in April. No, I'm sorry, June. Yeah. So we came down in March and we were talking about it and stuff like that. And then got towards June and we were going to come down to visit for his birthday or get him for his birthday or something like that for the summer. And we decided, we're like, well, why don't we just move? Because we were gonna do it in July. We were gonna come down in July. And we said, well, why come down and then come back up to just come back down? So
nope, that ain't what happened.
What?
That ain't what happened. So we went down there that March, and we were just like, we came into the malls, we was all around, we were like, yo, might be the thing. So then what happened is, when we went back home, we sat in the car outside the shop. You remember that? You don't remember that? We sat in the car outside the shop. It was like, yo, we can't keep doing this.
Yeah.
We sat outside the shop.
Yeah.
The day we got back, we pulled over, we was right in front of Turkey Hill, and we were just sitting there looking at the shop like, we gonna have to do this.
Yeah.
And that's how it happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We sat and we decided, hey, we just decided at that moment, we gonna do it.
Right. And we decided to do, I don't know why we decided July. For some reason we decided July because I remember we were like,
didn't move in July.
No, I know, but we initially decided for July, and then we was going down for his birthday, and we said, why would we go down for his birthday and then come right back and then leave again, you know? So
I don't know, but
I remember it being that way.
It don't even
yeah,
matter.
so
It don't even matter.
So it was 2 weeks before his birthday was coming, and we just officially decided, and it was just like out of nowhere, 2 weeks right before, and we found a place and everything like that, and it was 2 weeks.
No, we got the place 2 weeks before.
That's what I'm saying.
We've been decided.
Well, no, what I'm saying is like officially like told people we were leaving.
Right.
Because they were all like,
we've been decided though.
Yeah.
We decided.
Okay.
Way before that.
Well, I mean, I guess I'm speaking on just, officially like telling people, because everybody like 2 weeks, that's 2 weeks away. You're just leaving and you're just short notice and all this, because we did have some loyal people that were coming, like returning customers that just love coming like all the time. So it was a little hard for them.
Yeah.
So then we decided we actually came on his birthday.
We moved here on his birthday.
Yeah, it was exactly his birthday. So it was a nice birthday surprise for him. When he came, he said his mouth dropped.
Right. So, all right. Now, let's talk about, I don't know if I want to go into detail, like, what happened when we got here. I'm not sure.
No, it was, when we got here, we had a plan.
Hold on, wait. Before we talk about it, should we talk about it?
You said be honest.
in detail about,
I mean, we don't gotta go super detailed.
not super detailed.
Yeah, not
just,
super detailed.
Just some detail.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about what we thought was going to happen.
Right.
So we thought when we got here, everything was gonna move fast. We were gonna just boom, boom, boom. Everything was gonna be together, and it did not happen that way
at all.
Everything that could go wrong, went wrong. Like everything that could go wrong went wrong, and I ain't gonna front. Me personally, I was depressed for a little bit, and I've never been depressed in my life.
You were depressed. I was going through it too, because I mean, I feel like I had like found this identity with becoming Mrs. Paint Party,
Yeah,
you know,
me
and
too.
I felt like I kind of found a little bit of a purpose for me with with my history and stuff like that, and it was like not being able to do that really bothered me. I was really going through it. I feel like I had a little bit of depression going on at the moment. I mean, so yeah, like you left Harrisburg.
I left everything. I created all of my businesses up until that point.
The podcast was booming and just.
Yeah.
I mean, you even thought coming down here we were going to do the podcast right away.
That was the plan.
Like
all
the plans
that was the plan.
Went straight out of the window.
Yeah. But you got to think like I was saying. Your identity was wrapped up in Mrs. Paint Party, and that was like for like 4 years, 3 years, or however long up until that point.
Three,
like
3 and a half.
At that point.
3.5, yeah.
My identity was since I was 19, 20 years old of doing business in this city.
Yeah.
And then I moved somewhere and nobody knows who I am.
Right.
And I didn't even realize that I had that complex. I didn't even know that I was like, that mattered to me until
getting here. And couldn't make it was like stuck, like you couldn't make any kind of moves. You didn't know who to, like, cause we're down here, and I think our oldest son was his family that we do, but it was nothing like where we could reach to them and and connect with anything else. So we didn't have anybody, like not one person, all, like not a person down here at all. So it was literally just me, him, and the kids, and doing a day-to-day thing, trying to figure it out.
And it was hard.
It was hard.
So we spent the first we moved here, we were looking at spaces.
Yep, we were looking at spaces.
But then we kept having, like, I kept having this issue with, like, all right, we open up this here, we keep having this issue of don't nobody know us.
Right.
We can't connect with people. There's a lot of factors. It's a whole bunch of factors that we had to figure out. Traffic issues, parking issues, so many different layers.
Security type of issues.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So many issues that we just couldn't just jump into something quick.
Right.
So it just kept being prolonged. I'm just speeding through it a little bit.
Yeah, that's fine.
We're working. We're both, keep in mind, we haven't worked. Neither one of us has worked for years. We had to get jobs.
Yeah.
We moved down here. We bought a car because we was moving down here. And within...
not even 6 months. 4 or 5 months.
We bought this car, and we got down here, and everything we thought this car was going to be there for us for, it just was not. The car completely broke down, and this is supposed to be a reliable vehicle. This wasn't like we just went to like an auction and just, you know what I mean? Like we bought the car for some black folks. I ain't even gonna front. We bought the car off some black folks. I ain't gonna call nobody out, but we bought the car off some black folks, and I wanted to buy the car off black folks, but...
But say what kind of black folks, because there are...
What, niggas? What you want me to say?
What I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. Like, they were young, they just didn't care.
Yeah.
And it's basically like we went and bought the car off the auction. They bought it off the lot, and then we bought it off of them. And they didn't do nothing to it. So it was like...
Yeah, that hurt my feelings too.
Yeah.
Because it made me rethink my people again.
Right.
You know what I mean? We know how we can be, but that really, like, you know what I mean?
A different type of thing.
And then at the time, we needed that vehicle.
Definitely.
We needed reliability.
Yeah.
We needed what we needed. You know what I mean? Because we're moving down here once again, and we're giving up every source of our income. Like, every source of our income, we shut everything down and we moved down here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so we needed something reliable, and boom, that punched us in the face.
Yeah.
And along with all the other issues, you know, along with having 5 kids, along with dealing with baby mama's baby daddy stuff, along with dealing with our own marriage stuff, along with, like, life was like kicking us in the freaking, and we gotta be real about that.
Yeah.
Life was kicking us in the
It
butt
really was.
for a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
For a year, life was
Yeah.
just kicking us in the butt, and it was like when I then look something crazy too.
Was it a year? Or wasn't it just like 8 months?
It was a little bit less than a year. I just say yeah. I'm just rounding it off.
Okay.
And then the other thing moved down. Somehow my social security card, my birth certificate, everything was so I couldn't even work. So we talking about we got bills and stuff, and
so I was working.
Yeah, so you had to work.
I mean, where I was working was easy for me because it was easy money, and it was basically what I was doing at Mrs. Pain Party. So it was like,
right, and she wasn't stripping.
No,
let you know, she wasn't
I was stripping.
No. But I
yeah.
finessed the Uber.
Right.
I was able to drive Uber. I finessed that. I was
Yeah.
able to finesse that without my birth certificate or my social security card.
Mm-hmm.
So but gotta remember, we were not workers.
No.
We were completely business owners. We lived our life every day doing what we wanted, how we wanted.
Right.
You were only doing stuff on weekends. Eventually, I was doing only appointments for the shop, so we were just living life how we wanted to.
Right.
Then we come down here.
And working every day.
And we working every day.
Yep. And we had to split it because it was literally just us. So I had to, and sometimes I was working all day.
Exactly.
So you were with the kids and the kids were Ubering with you, or if we
they were definitely in the car.
Our oldest, he's old enough, sometimes they stayed home, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, it was.
Yeah, it was tough. It was tough.
So. But it built something, you know what I mean?
It did.
It built something in us because we could have left. We could have went back.
Could have moved back.
We could, with how bad it was, with your, how you were feeling, what we were going through, we could have easily just went back and made it work. Because we know everything up there. We know resources and everything. So it was like, we could have went back, but we didn't. We knew we did it for a reason. We had a feeling that it was what we needed to do. We've been talking about it. We did the numbers. It made sense. So it was like, we knew that there was a possibility that there was going to be some stuff with it.
Right.
But we just didn't know it was that much.
Everything.
It was
like
everything
went wrong.
Everything.
That was wild.
Yeah.
Because everything that could go wrong. Go sit down, baby.
Can I have lunch?
Not yet. It's late, not too
Yeah.
long. But everything that could go wrong went absolutely wrong. Like it was insane.
Oh my gosh.
It was insane. Like,
it was like
that was insane.
It was like the devil was really working against us. Like he was not trying.
Yeah.
And that's what and what I feel like now looking back on it is the saying that people say is like the devil really pushes hard on you when he knows that you got something really,
right.
You know what I mean, that you really got something, and not even if it's the business, but you just as a person or as a family and stuff like that, whatever it is that you got, the devil wants it. And he was trying hard to knock us down, and
sure.
You know what I mean.
And we could have stopped, yo.
We could have, man. We could have literally went back and, but we wouldn't be what we are today.
No.
So.
No.
We would be nothing. We would have went back. It went right back into it, and it would just went this cycle, and the cycle would have ended. It would have eventually ended. We would have just, at least with Miss Pink Party, would have stopped. Yeah. It would have stopped. I know dang well I would have gave up and said,
for sure.
Nope.
All right. So, what happened next?
So.
Year went by,
and we finally were. We were looking at a few spaces. We were looking at 2 spaces that I loved. Yeah, one on Tate Street and one was over in Aggie Plaza. And Aggie Plaza was kind of rough area, and I just didn't want my guests, like the women, if we were going to be doing what we did before, because we could have been out. We were out late. Sometimes they could be till midnight. And I didn't want them out there being, unsafe or worried, and I didn't have security and stuff like that. So Aggie Plaza was a no. Tate Street was a no because no parking. It was a little part of this street that would get packed up really fast, and there was really like no parking. So that was just off. No, it was a definite no for that too. And we've been looking at the mall. When we first got down here, we looked at the mall.
The first thing we looked at.
Right? That was the first thing we looked at. There was a spot that was pink and black, the colors of Mrs. Paint Party at the time, and it was beautiful. And I fell in love with it. And I was like, I want it, and blah blah blah.
And hold up, It was very small.
It was tiny.
Very small.
It was 700 something square feet.
It was super small. I don't even remember, but I
it
know
was 780 something square feet.
It was super small.
So, but I wanted it. I was determined to have this spot because I was like, I feel like it's supposed to be ours, you know, because it was the colors, exact colors and everything.
And it was in the mall.
And it was in the mall.
And keep in mind, we're not from here.
Yeah.
So we're not familiar with what are good areas in the mall, where people come in and out. We're just basing it off of, like, our malls in Harrisburg were super trash.
Right.
And so we come to a mall, 3 floors, a lot of stores.
We think it's just
high traffic. We think that we go anywhere and we're okay. So my perspective on it was, all right, let's get in this space because we're in the mall. Yep. And the mall has traffic. Right. And it has people. And we need people to see what we do because we can't necessarily reach people. Or we can't build relationships with people if we get a space on the street because they don't know us, we don't know them. We don't have a social media that caters to this area. All of our people, all of our social medias cater to people in Pennsylvania. So we get in the mall, we'll kill 2 birds with 1 stone. We'll get in front of people, and the people already have the money because we're in the mall. You know what I mean? We don't got to worry about parking. Right. We don't got to worry about security. The mall has everything we need, but biggest of all, the mall had the people. Right. Right. So it was like free advertising. So we thought, you know, we would pay attention to that entrance where we were at, and we thought we were seeing people coming in. You know, we thought we saw something. Yeah. But then we decided we'll get into that space and use the space for marketing. So let me go on this real quick. Okay. Let's go on this real quick because this is super important. Okay. Because this will help a lot of people. Okay. All right. So I told Donna, I said, look, this space is not to make money. This space, y'all hear me out. This space is not for money. This space is to get us in front of people, build a customer base, and then we go to a bigger space in 6 months. 6 months, right? Wasn't it 6 months? Yeah. Or was it 3 months?
I thought it was 4.
4 months?
I think it was 4 months.
May, June, July, August, September. Then we open up the other shop in September? Or was that October?
No. It was September. September 1st. Yeah.
So it was a 4-month lease, but we
no, it was a 6-month lease.
6-month lease?
And we moved quick. Because we had the other one another month or 2 after that.
Right, we did have 2 months. Yeah. So I told her, when we got the small space, the space that was in a bad location, we got that space, and I said, Donna, we just going to do this, and we're going to just do this for marketing. Marketing purposes, branding purposes only. Get them in here, get them familiar with it, and that was the purpose of it, right? I'm gonna put a pin right there in that. So let's talk about how we started the space, though. What were we doing?
Oh my goodness.
Let's talk about how we started.
Well, I do want to say we should add a picture of what that first space looked like, because we had 3 spaces in less than a year.
Less than a year.
So we should show.
Year.
Oh yeah, because it was a year.
Yeah. It was a year.
Okay, so that when we got into that space, we did it the same exact way we did it in Harrisburg. So we had our first, it was a weekend, we did events. People were supposed to sign up and buy tickets we gave them 2 options to choose from. And then we did one for the kids. So the kids one did better than the adult events because the kids one, we opened it up on a Saturday. Friday we were in there.
How did we get people?
I don't know.
Do we want to add or something?
I think so. Because we had, for the adult one, the tickets were sold out. Remember, it was like a bunch of college students that were supposed to come to the adult one that night.
But it was only for like $1 or $2.
I think it was
cheap.
It was either $1 or it was free. The kids one was free. The adults one, we made it $1. So let me talk about this because
keep in mind,
this is very.
Now let me say it again real quick, though. Marketing purposes. I want y'all to understand.
Yeah.
This will help some because I want them to understand. Yes, we needed to make money, but marketing, branding is way more important than trying to get sales. Right. You can build a community up. Build a community up, you'll be all right. Right. So, dollar parties.
It was a dollar party.
And free.
It was $1 and free. So, Friday is when we opened, and people were coming in, and we told them we were turning people away, telling them they had to go online and buy tickets for the events for the weekend.
Trash.
Oh, that turns my stomach so bad.
Trash.
So we had the kids one on Saturday.
Yeah,
was
3 images.
three,
2 for the we had the
two
little
girl-
Bowser dude.
what-
We had
Peach
Princess Peach
and Mario.
right?
Right. So we had 3 images that the kids could choose from or whatever, and I don't even remember how we did that. Was it boy, girl, or was it Bowser? We might have given the option of picking the actual.
I think they chose. So I remember
Yeah.
I had a list of how
Of
many
Bowsers
Bowsers
and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the kids one went well.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of kids showed up. We had it set up with them with balloons and all kinds of stuff. They had a good time. The adult one, from the job I was working, I had people come.
Mm-hmm.
They came. They told me they were going to come, and they came. So that was about 6-7 people.
That was the opening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
that was the glow party, right? Wasn't that
the
glow
trap
one?
and paint.
Yeah.
We made it a trap and paint because they love to hit trap and paints up in Harrisburg. But so we did that, and it was supposed to be like 30 others that was supposed to come.
Yeah.
But I didn't even remember. We didn't even know it was raining that night, and we were like, "Where is everybody at?" And then I found out it was raining, and I was like, "Okay." They
And
just
because
decided.
they only paid $1 too, they didn't care.
We got we still after a year, we still got
We still
6
do got
of the
them joints.
pictures
Yeah, that's crazy.
for the females
That
that
is
did not
crazy.
paint it. The male ones are gone.
Yeah.
But there's still 6 pictures of them. It was so long taking so long to get rid of those pictures.
Yeah.
So they never showed up. So there was just the people that came from the job that I was working at before. And then
Let's speed up a little.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
So we did it that way. Then that week, we tried to do it again. We tried to do another weekend one.
Another one.
And nothing. There was no sales, no nothing. Nope. So then through the week, people were coming in,
We have a little walk-in center.
walking in, and they were asking, well, do you have pictures that we can just, pick from or whatever? We had these available. They didn't want them.
Right.
So we kept telling them they would sign up for the events for what we have coming up.
Yeah.
And we realized as soon as they said, do you have pictures that we can choose from?
This ain't gonna work.
Light
This ain't gonna
bulb.
work. This
So it
ain't
was
gonna
like,
work.
we're gonna have to, and I was saying this for a little while when we were in Harrisburg, people were asking about it and stuff, and I was like, we should do that where we started with offering different sizes
Right.
for the one image. That didn't work well. It just didn't work the way we wanted it to,
Yeah.
or what it should have been. But I had the idea of I wanted them to be able to come in and pick different pictures and stuff like that, but we just never did it. Coming down here, we're gonna have people walking in constantly. They want to come in and they want to be able to pick, especially if it's pre-drawn, they want to be able to just choose whatever they want.
Right.
So we did a complete switch up,
Yeah.
week 1.5
Yeah.
of being open.
So here's another lesson. You gotta learn how to pivot.
Oh,
You gotta learn how to
you
pivot.
got not even just learn how to pivot. You got to know how to see it.
You gotta see.
You
where to
have to
pivot.
be able to see it because some people will have a business and don't see that they need to pivot, and that's when they ruin themselves because they don't pay attention and notice that okay, this isn't working. There's so many times you talk to somebody and they're like, but I don't. It's not about you.
Yeah.
Listen to your customers. Listen to your customer base. They tell you what they want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As long as it's not too far off from what you're doing,
Yeah.
let's go. You know what I mean? So, and this was better.
So then, the idea to put, how many images? 300, 200?
Oh, you said you wanted.
200.
First, you said you wanted 100.
Yeah.
Then it took to 200, and then we started counting. It was almost 300, and then next
Hold on,
thing you
wait.
know,
We didn't say what it was. 300 different images on the wall.
yeah. So it was 300, just different images.
Yeah.
We started off with.
Adults and kids.
Right, so we started off with our different two sizes, and
Yeah.
then we went to our third size,
Yeah.
and they all had different images. Now, of course, there were some that had multiple, whatever, blah blah blah.
Right.
But they could come in and just choose whatever they wanted to paint and paint it. So it was a brilliant idea because kids were coming in and painting their favorite characters, adults were painting their freaking whatever, TV shows, nostalgia, even cartoon characters themselves. So. It was just a really good idea to go and change to.
Yeah.
So.
And that's when everything changed.
Yep.
That was the moment of
Yeah.
everything changing. So months go by,
Mhm.
months go by, and we decide it's time to
Yeah.
go bigger. Matter of fact,
Well,
wasn't go bigger. Go to a different location.
Right. Because, and I do want to say, back to that part where you're saying, that space was just for marketing.
Oh, yeah.
I used to get mad because it was like, it was just for marketing, but it wasn't bringing it.
So, hold on, let me reiterate on that. In her mind, she heard me say just for marketing, but in her head, she like, we need to bring in all this money. So
I was used to what I was used to.
So you'll get frustrated.
I got frustrated
when the amount of money that she wanted wasn't coming in, and I'm like, Donna, you're forgetting. This is for marketing purposes only. Mm-hmm. Now we'll get to the other joint later. And so months go by, and it's time.
Yep, it was time. We said it's time to move. We started seeing that the following for down here was growing, and we needed to move to.
Anna Shakur.
Daddy.
Be quiet.
The bathroom door isn't locked again.
You gotta pull it hard.
Anna,
go sit down.
So. What do we say?
We walked around the mall one day.
Mm-hmm.
We came downstairs and we saw.
Oh, no! I told you, girlie had moved.
Yeah, but that's not what sparked me. I didn't even care about none of that. We were just down here. We were down here.
We were?
Yeah, we were down here, and I'm like.
No, I thought we were looking upstairs first, because we asked about upstairs, and that was for. No, was that for the store?
I'm just thinking of like when my light bulb went off to move to that spot. I remember we were walking around and I was like, did you know, I said, remember we were walking, I said, did you know that space was open? You was like, yeah, I told you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like.
Yeah, I saw her moving. It was a hair salon that was in the second space we had. And I saw her, I don't know what was going on. It was like, I would take the kids in the morning down to the play area on the first floor. We were on the second floor. So every morning before we would open up the shop, they would go to the play area, and she was across from the play area. And I was watching her shop and stuff like that, and then I started noticing like stuff was coming out, and I was like, okay. And then like maybe a couple weeks, I saw that she completely like moved out. Okay.
So I never saw the space.
No, because
I never saw the space.
Mm-mm.
I never was down here while they were at the play area. I never, you know what I mean? So one day we just happened to be down here. I saw the space.
Uh-huh.
I was like, man, this makes sense. It's a teddy bear spot next door, and there's a play area right in front of it.
All the kids' stuff is down on this first floor.
Yeah, so
the kids' clothing stores, the candy, the ice cream, everything about kids was on this first floor right next to this space.
Yeah.
So it just made sense. And it was a beautiful space.
Right. So we moved.
Yep.
We moved into space, opened up,
mm-hmm.
and
got flooded.
Let me also explain this real quick too. In Harrisburg, our rents were super cheap. I'm gonna explain this too because it's another element that can help people out. Our rent was super cheap, and we were not used to coming down paying $2,000 for rent, $3,000 for rent, $4,000. We wasn't used to that.
No, that was a definite.
So these spaces that we got, the small space cost more than almost both our spaces that we had in Harrisburg together. Almost. Not wasn't, but almost cost more than both our spaces together that we had. The next space was well more than both of the spaces together. Mm-hmm. So you gotta think there gotta be a mindset shift of like, if you're gonna have to spend more to make more. Right. Mm-hmm. You're gonna have to put yourself in a better environment, a better space. But you know what I mean? You gotta be willing to take that risk in order to go to another level. So we opened up the space and the floodgates start opening.
Oh my goodness.
You know what I mean?
It was first of all, coming down from a hallway that no one comes into was dead. Like it was no music. It was dark. We were like the only music playing.
You couldn't even hear them all.
You couldn't hear them all. It was like you really felt like you were in a different world because we would come out on the weekends from our space to the main hallway. Just walk down to the main hallway and it's like a whole new world. So coming down from that to this space down here, and you're in it. You're in it.
Now everybody can see.
They're seeing us and stuff like that. So they're coming in and they want to do it, and it's like they were just in there blowing us away. It was like we started when we came down. We had that idea of the slime because we said before we moved down, we said we have to come up with another activity that kids can do to keep them occupied. Mm-hmm. Now our daughter. Mm-hmm. is a slime fanatic, and the slime was really starting to build up again. So it was like, okay, let's look at it. And because I was saying this before, I'm saying it in Harrisburg, but it wasn't really like, you know, a thought there.
Yeah.
But we came and we looked at the numbers, we looked at what was needed, how, you know, the cost and all that stuff. I was like, oh, okay, we could do this. So we added it in. Now we didn't do it the first week. We had to figure it out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But once we did that slime, at first slime was doing better than painting.
Right.
It was quick, in and out.
Yeah.
Like, and we was marketing it that way too. It was like 10 minutes or less, and all this other stuff, and kids were loving it. So that was pretty brilliant.
So let's fast forward a little
yeah.
more. All right, so that space, we were in that space 9 months.
9 months, yeah.
In that space 9 months.
Mm-hmm.
So then transition. Once again, this space was not in a main hallway.
Right. It was like it wasn't in a hallway, but it was like in a scoop kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, sometimes the only reason some people were seeing us because we by the bathrooms.
Right.
So there was a lot of people that did not realize we were there. And at this time, we were there. Right. And they just realized, you know, we were there for about a year. That was, we hit our year, or getting close to our year mark.
Right.
And people were like, how long are you new? No, we've been in the mall for a year.
Right.
I didn't even know. You know, we were marketing. We weren't like playing around with it. So, and remember that time we got shadow banned.
Right.
So we were marketing. People were telling us, our regular people were saying that they weren't seeing our stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we were marketing. We were paying for this marketing stuff. And we were shadow banned. It was like, you couldn't see us. So we had some hard time with that. But
then we decided, all right, it's time to go bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, we could fit like 50 people in the shop, but then we would run out of space, you know, on the weekends and stuff. So we decided to go bigger, and we decided to go into the main hallway,
Yeah.
which once again, we're going from one price point for this rent to double what we pay in rent. But you gotta take the risk, man.
Right.
You gotta take the risk. So now we are in the main hallway, next door to Children's Place.
Next door to like a lot of good anchor stores.
Right.
So
we have
we're near an entrance.
More space for pictures. Slime area is huge.
Slime area is huge.
Yeah. And yeah, that's the Mrs. Paint Party process.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's where we at now. So what I want to ask you is, give somebody some one word of advice.
One word?
Not one word, but just some advice.
Okay, you said one word. Like,
some
what
advice.
I would just say, don't be afraid to take the risk. That's all I'm saying. Like, especially when you got somebody that is with you to take that risk. You know what I mean? And you gotta. It's a team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we work together on it. Just don't be afraid to take those risks if you really feel like you have something. You know what I mean? And it shows. Not if you just feel it. You know what I mean? Like it shows that you really have something. But just don't be afraid to take risks, honestly, because we only get one life. You know what I mean? You gotta live it how you really want to, and sometimes you gotta take those risks to live it how you want to. So yeah.
So we're gonna do part 2.
Yeah, because we gotta get
after
to work.
12, yeah, it's after 12. We gotta open up.
We gotta open up the
So
shop.
wait, don't leave. Don't go nowhere.
Okay.
So we're gonna do a part 2,
Yes.
and
Once the shop closed, so we can get it done today. Cause we closed early
I
today.
gotta get my ice cream
Oh,
today.
yeah.
I got.
Okay, well we can do it tomorrow morning.
Maybe tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Or maybe another time. We'll see. We'll figure it out. But we do need to do a part 2.
This is what happened the first time, and I became episode number 8.
No, this is going. No, what I'm saying is I'm gonna post this. This is gonna be the first one.
Okay.
But
Part
we're
2.
We're gonna do a part 2.
Yeah.
Woman,
Gotcha.
you got me.
Yeah.
A part 2
What would part 2 be about?
about.
You'll be asking me questions.
It probably will be. Yeah, more things about life and.
I was about to turn into
More stuff.
I think I
about
love you
life.
podcast.
You know what I mean? Nah, we don't go on that.
We ain't talking about the
some
podcast.
stuff, but just going more into life, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kids, business,
Kids
all
in
the
business.
above.
Kids in business. Because the kids be in business, man.
Marriage, talk about all that stuff.
Adopted children.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah, we got
Pussy baby that down. But all right. So we're going to close this one up.
Ready to get up. I was about to get up.
Right, don't go nowhere yet. We're about to finish this one up, and we're going to do a part 2 because we got to open up this store. It's 12:02, 12:04, and we got to open up this store. And but it's a lot more that we got to talk about.
So much more.
Yeah. So.
You gonna end it like Juliana?
Nah, hell no, we ain't doing that. But yeah, so Mrs. Paint Party.
Yeah.
My wife. You can follow at Mrs. Paint Party GSO on Instagram and TikTok is what?
Mrs. Paint Party.
Mrs. Paint Party.
And Facebook is Mrs. Paint Party.
Facebook is Mrs. Paint Party.
And check out our website.
Yeah, and if you're in Greensboro, come out. If you're in Raleigh, if you in
Durham,
Charlotte, if you in the surrounding areas,
you
Virginia,
in
Danville, Virginia. I don't care, man. If you in Maryland, well, I don't care. Look, if you see this podcast, come out, come check us out. Mrs. Payne, let's talk to them about the shop. All right, the BYOB, the slime.
Oh yes.
Let's talk about that stuff.
Slime, you can make your own slime from scratch.
Yeah.
The painting, you pick a picture, you sit down and you paint it.
Yeah. We got like 400 or 500, 600 images on the walls.
Yeah. And it's BYOB for adults, any day, anytime.
Yep. No extra cost.
No extra cost. We still got the karaoke.
Yep.
You know, whenever you want it. We have the snacks. We got our super slushies. The super slushies go crazy. Y'all gotta try that. We gotta talk about the super slushies, man. We didn't add that in there.
In what?
In our journey, we added super slushies. We went from we were gonna open up one of those and then just put it in here, and it's been really good. Yeah.
So
what
we'll
our
get the part two.
Part
Part two. We'll get there.
Yeah. So yeah, you just gotta come in here and enjoy the experience because now we got people that. Now we got employees. We didn't even talk about the employees.
Right.
Yeah, part 2 for sure.
Yeah, we've had.
So
we got a lot to talk about.
We got a lot to talk
but
about.
we run out of time.
Yeah.
So,
part 2.
Mrs. Paint Party. We're in the Four Seasons Town Center. Open mall hours. So if you need to know hours, check the mall hours.
Website.
Still
MrsPaintParty.com.
Yeah.
Always.
And
that's it. See y'all soon.
I hope this joint's still recording.